This program is sponsored by Shenanigan Sports Pub.
Hold the Mayo. It's time for Mike Mayo's Lunchbox. Find out what's being served with Mike, Defo and Lubie, the only show that covers food, sports, and the proper maintenance of your car. And now, a man who had the distinction of having an entire health clinic named in his honor, Mike Mayo.
I want the flim-flam sauce with the awesome bay, with shafafa on the side.
Good afternoon and happy Tuesday. I shouldn't say good afternoon because for some people it might be this evening, later on tonight. So I have to remind myself, don't be time specific. Michael Mayo on the Lunchbox, even though we call it the Lunchbox. All right, I'm rambling already. I took my walk of life. I'm in a real weird mood today. I thought it was down, but now as soon as the camera turned on, I'm energized because I love to see my Lunchbox mates, Jeff Defo DeForest, Mike Lubie Lubitz. It's also nice to be back in the homestead for a little bit and not being surrounded by calories and food and just stuffing myself with all kinds of things and dunking wings and whipped cream. What kind of mishigas was that yesterday, gentlemen? How are you, Defo?
That was quite a spread. I have to say, Gilbert's, they absolutely hit it on the head. It was tremendous. Burgers were great. I finished off the remains of mine, which was just a regular cheeseburger with grilled onions and mushrooms, and they couldn't have done it any better. I finished that off this morning as part of my breakfast itinerary.
Nice.
And, on the note of your radio performances, I finished up playing tennis last night about 8:30. My car was parked near my buddy Dr. Jerry, who's an avid listener of the program, because he's driving around 8 o'clock at night. And sure enough, he turns on the radio, and there we were, loud and clear, and well-produced by one Mike Lubie Lubitz, I might say.
Excellent.
Considering the usual audio difficulties that are, incurred whenever you go to a place with weak Wi-Fi and whatever, or, it doesn't... isn't compatible with what we have to have required to get the good sound. But it sounded great, and it was on the radio, and it was wonderful.
It's like my father and my former executive always said, always have a plan B. And that's why the radio is kind of sometimes nice as a plan B, because when we do produce these live casts and we are in some other situations where we don't control all the elements, at least we are recording for airtime later in the day. And that always comes out clean as a whistle. So I'm glad that I know we did have we had a show that was completely clean on the airwaves of the Oldies South Florida network last night. And, there are some people out there, and you said you got it, the signal clean as a whistle. Was that on AM or FM? Because I'm curious.
I believe he's tuned into one of the FM.
Yes. The FM comes in nice up in that the central
AM. I don't know if you can hear it outside the parking lot. Literally, I've done some stuff there.
That sounds more like the live stream broadcast. The last 20 minutes of the live stream. Marty Glickman coming in from the Polo Grounds.
Sounded like a 1990s Dolphin.
You sounded like Red Barber. Yeah, exactly.
All right. Those impressions were all off. So, but no, we had a fantastic time. I love the Gilberts, the whole Gilbert clan. Again,
nice people.
Lenore.
Wow. Great.
Beth, Richie, Beth has another full-time job, but she's still connected to the restaurant. She spends time there when Lenore, the matriarch, takes Tuesdays and Wednesdays off, and that apparently will be the time to go in there and request the secret menu item of the key lime pie shake. Which that burger beast, he's a little bit mischievous, and he likes being a troublemaker, and said, really, Lenore, I know you make great desserts, but you really should make that into a shake. It'll be a big seller among all these kids today. Make it a TikTok sensation. And she's like, don't you desecrate my pies like that. And of course, he arranges for Beth behind the scenes without Lenore's knowledge to whip up a couple of those key lime pie shakes. I gotta say, they were pretty darn good.
I'm not gonna lie, and I was calling her mom by the end of it because she was yelling at me just like my mother. So I felt at home. Lenore, I know, and I gave them this. I think they're going to start watching us. So if you do see this, Lenore, I told you this to your face. The shake was amazing. And I know Beth did it behind your back, as most of us children do when it comes to our especially I'm looking at two gentlemen who definitely did plenty of things behind their parents' back. to the end. Defo was still going, no, Ma, I don't gamble. And he was at the track.
No, they were relatively uninformed about my activities, my parents. I would have to say that's a true fact.
I will tell Ms. Lenore, I'm sorry. Not only I love the shake, I literally drank it the whole way home. Half of it put in my fridge. But my wife, the very very critical, especially sweet person, loved the shake. I know she can't stand it because it's, out of the whatever norm that she
Yeah.
wants at Gilbert's, but Beth, hell of a job. That shake is amazing.
That was great. And I just love the real whipped cream, to me, is what makes it, because you
Yes,
can
yes.
immediately tell the difference between establishments that just kind of get something out of shake can, the ready whip or whatever, and it kind of tastes a little bit metallic, a little bit chemically, but as opposed to places that actually get a full container of heavy cream and whip it up themselves and then shoot it through some sort of nozzle. And it's so good. It was so good. And again, it was good enough to dunk chicken wings in. I've never done that before.
Certainly
Kind of
love
reminds me of some odd things. Like, do you know the kids today, they love going to Wendy's and getting
fries,
French
frosted.
fries and dip it in the vanilla frosty.
My
Have you
wife does
done
that.
any kind of bizarre things like that, Defo? Or you
It's
take a
not my
basic?
game, dipping French fries into strange stuff. I like my French fries with salt or ketchup or plain. And I will say that the quality of the food there was outstanding. I've been there before, and I think it was a go-to place when I was doing some shows down at the convention center, which is down the block there. And anytime I was in the area, I always thought about going to Gilbert's. Now, it had been a while, and yet as soon as I pulled up to the place, I was like, yeah, I remember this joint. It's absolutely great. And we had a good time. And they had an unusual array. I know you're kind of you like a straightforward burger, but they had a lot of unusual stuff there with toppings and different approaches, and it all looked incredible to me.
Yeah, no, and you could get it as creative or as plain Jane as you want there. And yeah, I can't say enough good things. I've been going there for almost since the day they opened, and been a big favorite of my daughters as she was growing up, and even my parents and my mom always, when they were down visiting in the wintertime, that would be on the heavy rotation. They loved their burgers at Gilbert's, and they loved the burgers and sunsets at La Tub. So those were their two big
Oh,
burger
and by the
spots. So
way, talking about Mike Mayo recommendations, so we did, in fact, not only go to Arun's again this weekend,
ah,
we brought my sister, my brother-in-law, and my 7-year-old nephew, who's very still in that, oh, I only want chicken nuggets crap.
right, right.
All three loved it, and they don't ever get Indian food. But we
Wow.
ate there. We ate outside because they just wanted to be there, whatever the
Yeah,
fuck.
like a little picnic. Did they have tables set up on that front
We do,
sidewalk?
and
That's
it was
nice.
amazing. We were like, everyone was dirty after, even Shirley, and it was just like,
You work up a sweat. Did you order like the vindaloo, the very hot? You get the hot chicken or lamb.
got
What
a
did
little
the
spicy.
7-year-old eat? I'm always curious because Indian food. It's not always necessarily spicy, but it has different flavors and different herbs and spices that maybe a 7-year-old palate is not used to, especially one conditioned on American fast food. So, what did he eat and what did he like?
My sister loved the butter chicken, which is,
Butter chicken is,
and she
yeah.
gets it mild, so that's actually pretty solid. Which I like though. It let me know, okay, he's open to eating other things. I don't think, because whenever my nephews stay at my house and they'll do it once a month, I don't know what the hell to give them. Like they're very weird in their palate, so I get them fast food, and I'd rather not. I'd rather get them like real food or make them real food. And he pounded it, so I'm like, all right, good. That's good to know, Liam.
It's
You
good.
like this? We're gonna be eating more of this, so I'm grateful to you and Arun's because they loved it.
Did you try any of the vegetarian or the dal, the lentil dishes, the
I,
yellow or
I wanted to ask. She tried. They offered. She was trying to look for something new, and the guy offered something up, and she liked it. I don't know what it's called. And I was just
okay.
about to text you. What else do we get here?
Oh,
We
because they have on the vegetarian side of the menu, there's some really good stuff. It wouldn't be vegan because in order to really get the flavors and the full effect of Indian food, you have to use the ghee, which is the Indian butter,
Okay.
which makes everything that much better because ghee is butter, butter is fat, and fat equals flavor. Everybody knows that. So, but the dal makhni, which is I think the yellow lentils in kind of a buttery, creamy sauce, and you could kick it up with a little level with the spices. That's delicious, and they also have an eggplant dish
Ooh, I
whose
like
name in the language, the Hindu Punjab, I don't remember what it's called, but it's an eggplant, like little cubes of eggplant.
okay.
Defo would like that because it's kind of almost like a tofu thing, except
I
it's
like
eggplant
eggplant.
instead of tofu, but little cubes of relatively good, benign vegetable product that, again, and then you jazz it up with the different sauces and flavors of the spices. But yeah, it's Indian food, my daughter was weird. She had a phase where she wouldn't touch the stuff, and now all of a sudden she wants to go every week to an Indian restaurant. I've got to check out a couple of the ones that downtown, well, in Fort Lauderdale, Indian Harbor, that used to be in the same plaza as Gilbert's 17th Street, but they moved to a different plaza across the street on 17th Street. And I haven't been to Indian Harbor since it moved, and I want to check it out. So that might be the next place I go to with my daughter. So why not?
Well, I have a
flavors.
restaurant question for both of you, because it's funny. Defo's joked for over 12 years now that I'm an old man in a young man's body. So along with that vein, I will say, if I find somewhere I like, I stick with it. Like we found Moncaro. You showed me the other Peruvian place, so I now know it's there. I'll go, but I wouldn't on my own just go in this plaza where Ruins is there, and they have over 2,500 reviews. So that's telling you how good they are. There's another Indian place in the same shopping center that has almost 1,500 reviews. Okay. So Shirley's like, oh, well, what about this one? I'm like, no, we know a Ruins is good. Let's just go to a Ruins. Asking both of you, when you know somewhere's good, but there's another place similar, very close. I've learned from you, Mr. Mayo, to open my horizons. You got to give everyone a shot. Would you just stay pat with the place you know is good? Or would you be like, you know what? They're here for a reason. Both are succeeding because both have people in them. Do I try the new place?
I know I should answer for myself, but I'll answer for Defo because I know his answer is he always will stick with the tried and true, particularly if it's within 2 blocks of his house or.
Oh, no doubt.
Yeah.
That's the way to go. Then you're never disappointed. It's great. But it's kind of like here's this could work in reverse. I mean, because Pat's and Geno's in Philadelphia, well known as competitors across the street from each other for cheesesteaks,
hot garbage.
It is deemed by nobody that claims to be an expert on cheesesteaks as being the best or anywhere near it in Philadelphia, and yet people flock to both of those places, and then they debate which one of these ones to go to.
I don't want, you know what? That was a little excessive of me to say hot garbage, but those are just they're the well known.
They could have been in business as long as they have, as you often say about Tropical Acres.
Yes,
there was all this negativity.
Well, this is true, but again, if you are well positioned and in a place where a lot of tourists are going to be just streaming past, and if they are drunk enough and hungry enough, they will get in there. But no, I mean. Philly cheesesteaks, again, my preferred spot is Tony Luke's. It used to be, it's in the southern part of town. But getting back to Lubie's original question, it depends on the circumstances. Like, I will go tried and true if I'm with people who are visiting from out of town that I want to impress, that I want to make sure. But I am always open, like you said, to exploring new things. And if something has been there for a while and I've passed by it like 25 times and I've never gone in, I say one day I got to go in and check it out. And I'll see if it's a reasonable alternative or if there was a reason why I always kept going to the original one. Speaking of which, Defo, is Peking Duck House ever going to reopen, or is it still
it doesn't look good.
state?
I mean, there has to be something underlying thing going on there because no place is closed for remodeling this long without any activity taking place there. I happen to drive by there quite frequently on my various routes wherever I'm going. Usually involves a trip on Atlantic Boulevard. And as much as I like it, and I did stop once again last night. This has become now 2 consecutive Mondays, probably not a good sign, where I have played my tennis match against Dr. Jerry and then stopped at May's Kitchen for a thing of fried rice, chicken fried rice, because that's one of the real luxuries in life is to know there's football on TV and you've worked up enough of a schwitz to be able to accommodate the calories and whatever, substances involved. And then a little bowl of chicken fried rice with the house mustard. Fantastic, right? Swig that down with my Budweiser beer. But I'm thinking, and you would know more about this than I would, but I'm thinking maybe the place was sold or it's not coming back under similar circumstances because, or maybe they were shut down by permits because Pompano Beach is very difficult in that regard. But there has been zero activity. I mean, no one's working on the place. Originally, when they shut down, they were talking about roof repairs, and then they put some, what are those things called, where you have the blue freight crates. No, but I mean, what do they call pods or whatever? They have those outside.
Oh, the storage pods are out there?
Yeah, as if they were working on something, but there hasn't been a worker around that building now, probably for 3-4 months.
This leads me to believe one of two things. One, either somebody went to Saratoga before they started paying the contractors. And that's not ever a good thing to do. Or they went to Saratoga after they paid the contractors, and then the contractors said, "Oh, it's still going to be another $20,000 on top of what you already paid us." And
But the gambling element, I think, has been taken out of the Peking Duck House, and that was kind of a secret underlying thing because I knew that Kenny, who was the owner, he passed away like 7 or 8 years ago, and he was the guy that had the goal sheets under the menus as he was taking your orders, and you could literally cross him up by ordering two things. I'll have the chicken chow mein, the mugu gai pan, and the Lakers -2, and the only thing he would remember was the Lakers -2, and he would look at you, never mind what you ordered, he would say, "So you like Lakers?" And I'm like, no, I was just goofing on you, Kenny. But he passed away years ago, and I don't think his wife was a big fan of the gambling element, so I don't think the Saratoga angle is probably appropriate. You might have to dig a little deeper on this one, like you did with that lady who was faking the heart attack.
Yeah, one of these days. And it's sad because that's a place, I think it's been around more than 30 years. And
I think it was good. Very good by Chinese food standards. I know you like
never
Hong Kong
eaten
barbecue
there.
and some other places, but everybody, the majority of opinion was very, very favorable.
I've heard mixed things about the place, but again, in the longevity game, any place that's been around in South Florida for more than a generation, obviously has some sort of positives. So
they were very consistent, and sometimes you go to a Chinese place that isn't as well established, and you get some inconsistency with certain dishes, and they were very consistent, and you could count on them getting your order right, whether you were picking it up or delivery, whatever.
You need the crowd pleasers, and as Jim Sarney reminds me, today is lo and behold, according to the Ministry
National Chow Mein Day.
No, National Fried Rice Day.
Fried rice. Oh, so see, that's why I had it. Yeah,
so you had it. Let me ask you this: what is your standard fried rice order in terms of? Do you go with the house special, where you get a little bit of everything, the pork, the chicken, the beef?
I like that. I find it
shrimp?
A little prohibitive sometimes. The charge there is a little bit, jacked up because they throw a couple of shrimp in there. I'm a chicken fried rice guy, pork fried rice. I do like special fried rice. That's fine. But my go-to in general is chicken fried rice.
Really? I'm a shrimp fried rice guy. If I have to just limit it to one.
It's annoying. Shirley will do that. Because Shirley's like, oh, shrimp. But it's like $5 extra, and they give you 3. It's not even like they give you 6 or 5. They give you
maybe you're going to the wrong restaurants because the places I hang at, maybe because it's me, they see me coming and they don't want me giving them that write up on Let's Eat South Florida. 89,000.
Yes,
we've crossed the threshold.
Oh, nice.
And again, now think back to the classic Seinfeld line of "I'm counting your shrimp." When they divide up the shrimp and black.
I want an equal number of blueberries in every muffin, man. It's right out of De Niro in the movie Casino.
So, I you know what? Sometimes I just say I want shrimp fried rice. I think it's a great combination. The white little shrimp with the brown soy sauce, wok fried rice. It's and I don't find again. Usually you get the very smaller shrimp. Call it krill instead of prawns, but what's really nice is when you go to the higher end Chinese restaurants, places like Christine Lee's at the at Gulfstream or Rainbow Palace up in Fort Lauderdale, places where they do charge like $27 or $28 for a shrimp fried rice, but they come out with like
$28.
Yeah, but you're getting like a 10 of those jumbo shrimp. Like you're getting almost a pound of really big shrimp, like the kind they would get in a shrimp cocktail. Then you're living high on the hog when you go to a Chinese establishment that will give you those big jumbo plump shrimp.
That's not happening in May's kitchen, I can assure you.
Hey, and the other thing is there's other kinds of fried rice. It's not just the Chinese takeout fried rice. This is Fried Rice Day, and some of my favorite fried rice. And I'm going up to Delray Beach tonight to we're having another big shindig. I got to put in a good word for Dick Steen and the crew. We're launching.
I have to scratch on that. And it starts at 5 o'clock. Was that the deal? 5 o'clock?
5 to 7:30.
A little early because I have some other stuff to do, and I don't know.
Now you're scratching. I already got. I
don't know if I can clear my social calendar. I'll see what happens.
I got you with the +1, and now you're going to bail out. And first of all,
I might be able to get up there by about 6. How long is it going to be going on for?
It's going No, it says 5 to 7, but they don't
Okay.
kick us out till 8. And the thing is, we got to see you there. Dick Steen is clamoring for you.
I love Dick
Especially,
Steen. I really do.
he's specially invited his neighbor again. And what
Oh
we're
no,
trying to
not that. No, I don't want to
no,
say
no,
a word here on the
he's
show that
kidding.
rhymes with asshole, but not that guy.
No, Joe Cassell is going to be there. Tasso, I hope, is going to be there. The star of
Tasso should be
Stage.
celebrating Fried
Yeah.
Rice Day. I
Oh,
would
yeah,
imagine.
yeah. But Bar 25, it's a new place. It used to be the Mellow Mushroom. Do you remember the Mellow Mushroom? Was like a
Pizza
kind of
place.
a
Sort of,
fast
yeah.
casual pizza place, whatever that was in college towns, and it went out of business here in Fort Lauderdale and also Delray Beach. But that location is now Bar 25. Good little menu of all kinds of light bites and cocktails. And the chef Walter used to work at Cafe Martorano, so he does a nice job with some of the things like the cheesesteaks there and whatever. We're gonna have, basically it's another celebration of change of seasons. The Best of Delray Beach app. We're launching some new items. Like the services directory. So we want people to kind of get re-engaged with the app and get engaged with the fall season is coming up any day now. So Bar 25, 5 o'clock. Those who register and you go to the Best of Delray Beach Facebook group, you could register RSVP, and when you're RSVP, you get a free drink ticket and you get entered into all raffles for some great prizes we're going to be giving away. So that's going to be a fun time tonight.
Now, am I in on that action, even though I didn't register through conventional means? Because I tried to, and it shut me out somehow with
If
an
you show
email
up,
incorrect or whatever.
you
Just show
say
up.
that you're a friend of mine and just love, smile at the lovely Sarah and Julia and some of the marketing folks will be working there. And, if you tell them you know me, they'll slip you a ticket for the
Weren't you
raffle.
working a little angle there at the last one, the last
I'm
gathering?
always working angles, Defo, and
Right.
no, the Dick
With your
Steen, he
single
was
stature,
saying,
I mean, you were
we
definitely
were
working.
thinking of cooking up a little. He was talking about maybe getting arrested tonight to get some publicity, and was thinking about where he might because we'll get a little. I was saying let's do like maybe Defo and the neighbor and him and do like a Will Smith Chris Rock thing. We could slap Dick Steen around and then actually maybe he has to
Why
slap.
would he invite this guy? I mean, the guy could
He's
not have
not.
been
He's not
any
inviting
more,
the neighbor.
any
I just
more
said he
honoring.
did.
What
I
a
just
disaster he was.
Is the guy a jerk? People never hates anyone. What did this guy do?
no. He really.
I
must
didn't
have,
hate the guy, but it was just like, how could you be this much of
Wow.
as I said? I mean,
You say you don't hate the guy.
no,
but
I
you
don't
have
even know
this-
him. I mean, he just
You have
he
this
was.
razor sharp memory of the evening. I
I
never
remember
saw.
the look that he gave Dick Steen, and I thought this guy was, I mean, it was obviously a thing where people are going to be very favorable about what's going on. Now, he was sitting there eating dinner privately. He didn't have anything to do with the freebie
Right,
bash
no,
that
he was
going
there
on.
on his own, and
But
probably he was.
I mean, the way he
getting-
looked at both of us was just, you're saying to yourself, Bill Belichick doesn't stare down the press like that after somebody asked him if he deliberately threw a game.
So
That's how
obviously,
ugly this look was.
the guy didn't want to be bothered. The guy wasn't there for the app, so he won't be anywhere near the place tonight unless he likes to just show up and troll Dick Steen and you. In which case, we could
He
have
probably
fisticuffs.
follows Dick Steen to just torture the man. I mean, it sounds that way. Does he cut down his hedges, deliberately, and throw the excess on Dick Steen's side of the fence? I mean, this guy sounds like the last guy you would want as a
He
neighbor.
probably just throws it in Dick Steen's pool just to.
Yeah, something like that, like a
totally.
dead fish floating in Dick Steen's pool, and everybody knows who did it, but the cops really can't do anything about it.
Oh man! So anyway, that's tonight, 5 to 7, Bar 25, Delray Beach.
Public's
we
invited,
hope-
right? Maybe Andy will come out, or some of our
Yeah, anybody could come.
viewers here.
Show up. Again, the bar will be open for regular service. So come on out. I wanted to mention a couple of things.
And he made a move on a
before-
girl that was there last time. Did you catch that? And I think he actually had a couple of dates with her, and then I think she might have turned out to be criminally insane. She
Was that
on-
the?
No,
Anyway,
no.
I got sidetracked because I started talking about Delray Beach and the
Yeah.
party. But Fried Rice Day. There's more to fried rice than just Chinese fried rice. There is Thai fried rice and Vietnamese fried rice. And my friend Sopanut at Eat Thai, which is a great Thai restaurant in Delray Beach on the Federal Highway, right at the corner of Linton Boulevard. But he makes this crab fried rice, a Thai fried rice, and he uses not like the fake crab meat, but actual like lump crab meat, and he has like a whole portion of it on top of the rice and you mix it in yourself. That's one of my favorite fried
Now, do you
rices
make your
out
own
there.
version of it at home? Because I make my own fried rice quite
You
a bit.
do?
Yeah, with brown
Mom
rice.
Shirley does too. These
Yeah.
I'm not, I've never had much rice game. I'm a pasta freak, so I just make, dry pasta out of a box and jazz it up with. But when it comes to rice, first of all, I don't have the patience to actually buy the regular rice and let it simmer for 20
I
minutes.
use those 10-minute boil bags on the brown rice.
Oh, okay.
And
Well,
it comes
that's a
out
little
pretty well. I mean,
little
there was
cheating.
also, we used to have the crock pot thing. I don't know. It was not really a crock pot. I guess it looked like one, but
Yeah, the rice maker.
yeah, and that was very good. But
Well,
the Mustang,
that's dependable.
she doesn't take the time to assemble that thing anymore.
No,
So
I
I'm
mean,
just
they have-
boiling them out of a bag.
I like, I do the Uncle Ben's, I do the minute rice, I do the things in
It's
the
no longer
pouch that
Uncle
you-
Ben's. It's now just
Oh.
Ben's.
Okay, I'm sorry. I didn't mean to
It is
offend
just-
anybody.
Come on, man.
Nice.
Retract that statement and
And then they
put the
changed it
disclaimer up,
totally.
Lubie. Yeah.
And they
No
changed
more
No
it.
such
Aunt
thing as
Jemima,
Uncle
no
Ben's.
more Uncle Ben's.
Yeah.
All the aunts and uncles
Aunt
have gone
Jemima's
away.
gone. There's no
Yep.
family left in this game anymore.
Anyway, so no, and then I just do basic rice because you know why? I have my local Chinese takeout. I got the Hunan Wok too. They do such a great job. Why am I going to go out and reinvent the wheel and have to buy all the proteins and buy the soy sauce and buy a wok? They get it to my house hot and fresh in 10, 15 minutes. So you can't beat that. It's like still
No, it's good.
$8.95 for a.
How about
quart. It's one of those
Papa's
things
Raw
that-
Bar? How about going to places that have a fried rice dish, but or maybe more along the lines of American restaurants?
Yes,
Which is very popular now. You see a lot of places offer some kind of fried rice dish on their menu. And Papa's Raw Bar, I mean, people rave about it. It's almost one of those things where, certain restaurants you go to, you have to have this or you have to have that. Everybody says, like, I know you don't agree with me, but the dates, everybody says, if you go there, but that's just an example. It may not
Right.
be your favorite.
it's a signature dish, right? I
Signature
get it.
thing, and you have
Yeah.
to have it. When you go in there,
Yeah.
it's like the the garlic shrimp at the Cafe Seville, or any of those sort of things. And it seems like at Papa's Raw Bar, very popular for a lot of their dishes. That everybody says you have to get an order of the fried rice.
Well, their fried rice is really good.
Oh yeah, it's good. No, I actually was there relatively recently
Really
with
good.
Dickstein, and we did get a bunch of the fried rice and some of their other
Sushi's
those
really
little swordfish cubes, or they have those little fish grilled fish cubes that were excellent because it's just not fried and just kind of grilled and relatively healthy. And have that with the fried rice at Papa's. It's
Are
beautiful.
you a
It's
duck
beautiful
sauce guy? I mean, do you put duck sauce on it or just the hot mustard?
It's a little personal, don't you think?
Yeah.
There, yeah, I like this.
good. And egg
All
rolls,
kinds of
except for the
condiments.
egg roll.
No, I mean, I like sweet
I like
heat. I
sweet.
like a little bit sweet and a little bit hot. So you mix the hot mustard and the duck sauce, like we were doing yesterday at Gilbert's with the that roast pork sandwich on garlic bread with the duck sauce.
You
and the
suck
hot
that
thing.
down too, like a vacuum. I
so
hope people
good.
get to see the video of that.
It was so juicy and it was so tender, and I'm so glad that Lenore brought out another sandwich for. Ended up taking half of it home, and I gave it. My daughter had it for dinner last night. She loved that, so that was good.
They had great food
stuff.
there. I mean, even off the beaten path there, because
Yeah,
you're
and
thinking
one
of getting
other
a
thing-
burger, but they had a lot of interesting.
One other
variety there.
thing I wanted to mention about Gilbert's, because when they first opened, it was kind of a forerunner in that back then there weren't many of these fast casual places where you would first go in and order at the front and pay in advance, and then they would bring your food. It seems like that's become the way of the restaurant world now, that a lot of the younger generation, they don't want full service. They don't want to have to wait for the server to come over and take the order, and then at the end of the meal have to wait and summon them for the check. And it seems like a lot of restaurants, the waitresses and waiters disappear when you're looking for the check, and then you have to sit there an extra 20 minutes. This place, you go, you order, you pay at the register. And the beautiful part is there is no tipping there. You don't have to tip. It's not, they don't hit you with the screen that says extra 20%. I know this is riling a lot of people up on the Let's Eat group now, of like every restaurant you go to, whether it's a fast casual or even just a pickup or a takeout, they're going to hit you with the screen after you put the credit card in and asking for 25% gratuity or 20% gratuity. The nice part of
It's always
places like-
interesting too when the person is kind of hovering over you and
Yeah.
check the box,
Right.
and they
It's
see
like-
you going for the Canadian. And they just have like a Canadian flag. It's like 5%. They see you checking in there, and they're like,
not just the Canadian flag, the Quebec
yeah.
flag, right?
Yes,
The
Yeah.
I
Quebec
was
flag.
gonna say.
That's
Mark.
okay.
J. May Souvien, I remember, but they always forget. No, because again, the service charges are included in the restaurant bills up in Canada, so there's a cultural reason for their lack of tipping when they're down here. Although at this point, you would think somebody would tell them, you're supposed to put an extra 15,
It's like wake up,
20%.
Frenchie.
Yeah,
Let's
yeah.
have a couple of bucks here.
So, God. So, but no, the nice part is, of course, they do have good service at Gilbert's, where they have people working the tables and bring you condiments and refilling your sodas. I gave the guy yesterday. I gave him a little bit at the end for
nice. Yeah, I
making a
forgot to
mess
shoot
and
the guy.
everything.
I really
Yeah,
did.
no, I always
Sorry
but
about
again, it's completely optional there, and I always like to smear and take care of the people who take care of me. So anyway, that was a beautiful day, and you know what? I had a buddy come in last night. I'm gonna go. We are talking. This is a Shenanigans Tuesday today, and friend flew in to Fort Lauderdale Airport. My buddy, college buddy, who was at the wedding up in the Berkshires, and then he spent the day in Long Island where he grew up, and then he flew down LaGuardia 10 p.m. I picked him up at the airport. Late night dining. Where are you gonna go? Shenanigans. We went right down to East Side, caught the tail end of those two dogs and duds of football games. Not too exciting last night.
Well, a little
It's funny.
scary though, watching the Bills. It really was.
The Bills look
Little
really
scary.
good. That's going to be a good game this week. Bills early AFC East divisional matchup there, Dolphins and Bills. Bills are looking really good, but they had the split screens going at Shenanigans East Side, and I was like, wow, if you took the Vikings and the Titans and put them together, that would be a good game, 7-7 at that point, because they only had 7 points, but both those games were not competitive. But you know what? No problem. When you go to Shenanigans, you don't even care if the game is a blowout, because you're sitting there, you get surrounded by good friends, good food, good beer, coldest on draft. We had a couple of nice, I believe it was the Stellas on draft last night, along with, you talk about signature dishes. Got to get the chicken wings, those black and grilled wings. My buddy was trying to be a little health conscious. He got the grilled chicken Caesar wrap, and that's always a beautiful thing too. And he has the other half for lunch. We love Shenanigans because there's two locations. The original is across from TY Park in Hollywood, right there on Park Road and Sheridan Street. The East Side, that's my local, 1300 South Federal Highway in Dania Beach. Both of the locations have late night food. The kitchens are open past midnight. Also late night drinks, and they have drink specials all day. They have a drive-through window on the East Side for convenient takeout and pickup. They also have the barbecue smokers going on the East Side, delicious ribs and other things like the pulled pork and brisket. So go to Shenanigans. Pat Utter and crew, they've been at it 30 years. They do a great job. Shenanigans, tell them the Lunchbox sent you.
Ribs are great. I took a few of those home from our visit to Shenanigans. Had them later on, and just absolutely phenomenal. And don't forget about the seafood sandwiches. Any kind of fish sandwich that you have there, or fish dish.
Always fresh
dynamite,
mahi.
man. It's like Bouncer Smith just rolled in with like a ring of fish, and then there's a Pat just taking them and putting them right in the oven. Absolutely fantastic. All right, more coming up on Mike Mayo's Lunchbox on various platforms, including entertaining the 89,000 now people that are strong on Let's Eat South Florida. I do want to get one point in real quick here, because on my drive down to these locations, which are mostly in that area, 17th Street or whatever, going down the Federal Highway, the last few places we've gone, there are so many places here. I mean, for the people that complain about one restaurant and get focused and zeroed in on, I don't like this one or I don't like that one, I'll never go back there. Unbelievable choices here in South Florida. And I guess it's true across America, but is it more so here than anywhere else where you have so much variety? Like Lubie's talking about, maybe 2 quality Indian restaurants in the same little strip mall. It's pretty amazing.
And that's in a little suburb in the northwest corner of the county. We are blessed with diversity and abundance of good food. So, again, don't be like all those complainers. Just appreciate all the good stuff around.
Try all these great places. All right, back with more, and we'll touch on a few more of these places on Mike Mayo's Lunchbox in a moment.
You like pizza? Who doesn't like pizza? Well, my spot for pizza is the Pizza Spot. It's in that little bit hard to find Riverside Park neighborhood of Fort Lauderdale, but it's totally easy to love. It's at 601 Southwest 12th Avenue, New Haven style, a pizza from Wade and Reese. It's a lovely outdoor spot. You could also pick up pies to go at 754-779-7788, 754-779-7788. Again, they're open every day but Monday for lunch and dinner. Some of the best pizza I've ever had. Go to Pizza Spot. They also have subs, salads, and more. Tell them the Gambling Gourmet sent you. If you like seafood in a comfortable setting, outdoors, even keel fish shack at the corner of A1A and Commercial Boulevard in Lauderdale by the Sea, that's my spot. It's upscale food in a down-home setting. The chef owners, Dave and Brad, do a terrific job with all the seafood classics that you want. They have the best grilled oysters in town, bang bang shrimp, lobster rolls, and deli fish specials. They also have weekend brunch Saturday and Sunday. They have deli happy hour 4 to 7, and they also have other weekly specials like mussels on Monday and oysters on Tuesday. Go to Even Keel Fish Shack and tell them that the Lunchbox sent you. And we're back here on a sedate Tuesday edition of the Lunchbox. No remotes today. No
No
eating
food
by
on
me
the
tonight.
desk there, Mike.
Where's your
Gonna
food?
I'm being
slobber
pretty
something
good.
down?
I'm being pretty good. I've got my water. I did my walk of life with my
Oh, good
buddy
for you.
Eric this morning. Eric, by the way, so he's college roommate, longtime friend. He's also
What
the
kind of shape
cheapest.
is he in at this point?
He's in
life?
good shape. He
Yeah.
used to be an active skier, and
Okay.
he lives in Portland, Oregon, and he gets up to Mount Hood. He loves to just basically hit the mountain.
One of
and
these
ski all the time.
outdoorsmen. Yeah.
Yeah, very very crunchy granola type. He moved to
Runs
the
like
West Coast
Steve
early. Yeah,
Prefontaine. I mean,
he
800 miles a day.
yeah
Okay.
he's slowing down a little bit in his old age, but he's one of the cheapest human beings in the history
Cheap.
of mankind.
Oh wow.
And
That's not
we call him El Cheapo. That was his.
that's an ugly
nickname.
quality to be a
Oh,
cheapskate. It
well,
really is.
let me give you Friday night, the night before the wedding, a whole
Women
bunch of
detest
people.
that, by the way. They really do. I mean, if
He's
you look
been
like a
married a long
cheapskate
time.
right away,
My
He's
wife's
not
so
courting. He's not trying to impress
women
anybody. And
detest that.
I'm going to replay this for him later. He's in the next room doing some work. But the bottom line is, so like on Friday night, the night before the wedding, a whole bunch of people congregated in Great Barrington, Massachusetts, and it was kind of a impromptu, not official bachelor party, but we took my friend who was getting hitched for the first time at age 57. We took him to a local pub restaurant, and we all were buying drinks and beers, and we were out until they closed. They closed that town early. They gave last call at like 10:30. It was pretty shameful. But Eric, for some reason, didn't even show up in town that night. He had missed the whole evening's festivities, so he didn't have to reach into his pocket and buy a round of drinks for the groom and other sort of people. He showed
He
up
did that
on
deliberately to
he
avoid
showed up.
making that
He
payment.
flew into JFK and also saw some old family or friends in Long Island, and then drove up on the day of the wedding. So of course I shame him. We ended up going out for a big lunch before the wedding at a Greek restaurant up there in town, and I just said, Eric, this one's on you. And I just shamed him into. I
Wow.
made him, and his face was just aghast. I was like, yeah, you don't show up for the bachelor party, you got to pay the piper sometime. And then
How many
last
people were
night.
involved there? How many people at the table?
That was it was a 5-person table, about $100 table. So
Oh, that's
but
all.
these
All right.
things I have to keep them in line. And then last night we go to Shenanigans, and late night flight. He's staying at my house for a few nights. He's at Casa de Mayo, and the room rates are very friendly
hotel.
here.
You'd think he'd reach for the check right away. No?
Well, and the waitress comes over when we're settling up, and she goes, "Oh, is that going to be separate checks?" And I said, I just looked at him. I
no.
said, "No, this one is all on him."
Oh, you did.
If
I thought he was
oh,
going to look for a separate check that he wouldn't even pay
again,
for
you
your,
have to
chicken
shame.
wings.
Yeah, it's like anything else. It's like conditioning and training, and just I'm trying to just make him a little bit more of a generous human being. But that is my shame of the day. Hey, double shame. Did you see this story I sent you guys? Restaurant related. It's actually a country club in Virginia that I don't know. This goes in the column of. It seemed like a good idea at the time to
Probably in poor
absolutely
taste, yeah.
nobody.
Yeah.
You talk about in poor taste, and I guess I missed this when it first happened, but right around 9/11, this country club, in order to commemorate 9/11, they came up with a special menu, and it was just grotesque. Of something called the Remember Teeny, which was like a martini. And they had something, never forget sampler platter that had something called Flight 93 redirect crab dip. I mean, I don't what.
A little weak, yeah. Probably. Who's their marketing person? I
Well,
would imagine they're unemployed today.
Now they're ex-marketing person.
Yeah.
I don't know whose idea it was, but that was certainly like there's certain things where you just don't.
It was like
and I-
Stephen Ross having an honorary ceremony for the Gators and Tim Tebow when he was playing with the
At
Denver
a Dolphins
Broncos,
game.
and the whole focus of the game in halftime was to celebrate this quarterback who they then, because he was having a lousy game, was about to be out of football, ordered the coach to open up the Red Sea defense so that Tebow could ultimately prevail and not look bad.
No,
Bad
it's
choice. Bad choice. So, maybe you like the guy, maybe you don't, but bad choice.
particularly bad taste. I don't know what some people are thinking. I can't really think of any restaurants down here that have done any kind of major faux pas around holidays or anything like that. Or, although
Veteran service people get a free meal. Something along those lines might be a better way to, celebrate that
and
concept.
but like as far as like if you're gonna have a Rosh Hashanah special that's including the pork ribs, I don't know if I would do that. That's probably bad taste.
Yeah, the
Hey,
pork
all right.
chop is a special here.
So
We have plenty of
that was the bad news of the day. Good news of the day. So I don't know if you saw this. The New York Times now every fall they put out a list of like the 50 most exciting restaurants around the country. It's not just in New York. And they do this list. They released it this morning, and there are actually 2 in Coral Gables of all places. Nothing.
Oh,
Yeah. The only 2 I think in Florida that made the list, but 2 places in Coral Gables, neither of which I've been to, but I've heard a lot about both. One is called Mammy, which is
that
kind
doesn't
of Mammy, Mamey, which is that Mamey? Is that how it's pronounced?
Yeah,
It's
I
like
would
the
say
fruit.
more
It's a
probably Mammy than Mammy.
Mammy. Okay,
Mammy.
Mammy. Okay,
Mammy,
Mammy.
you sound like Al Jolson here.
I was gonna say
It's
Mammy is
unbelievable.
the
You're
way
going to get in
wait,
trouble. You're going to
I
get us all in
forgot.
trouble on this show.
That's gone the way of Aunt Jemima and
Yeah.
Uncle Ben. I
Yes.
can't say. Okay,
Let's go Mammy.
Mamey. Okay, I'm the worst. I'm thinking of the playwright, right? David Mamet, or is that Mamet? All right. Anyway,
I don't know.
Niven Patel is the chef owner of the place. He also opened a upscale Indian place a while back called Ghee, but now this is kind of his newer place. And it's kind of has a lot of Caribbean influences and local ingredients that he grows himself on a farm and homestead. But the Times gave that praise, and also a place called Zitz Sum. It's like a dim sum place that started during the pandemic as a pop-up, and it got all this critical praise. Even our man Carlos Frias, the the food writer and critic from the Miami Herald, loved the place. And it's a guy who is I think born and raised in Colombia, South American roots, but he kind of put a spin on some of the dim sum and dumplings and things like that that has gotten a lot of critical praise, and it also made the New York Times most exciting restaurants in America list. So I guess I'm going to have to eventually go back down to the 305. I haven't been down there exploring a lot lately. Been so busy with Dick Steen up in Palm Beach County and Delray, and also exploring all the good stuff in Broward County. But I don't know, but the Defo, do you ever go down there anymore for anything?
Very rare, but when I do, I used to live in Coral Gables when I first moved here, first got married. For a while, I had a place in Coral Gables, and there were many outstanding restaurants. I mean, this is going back 40 plus years ago,
Right.
and some really, really nice, even high end places. And then they established, they redid kind of the Miracle Mile area there. And there are many, many places that, would be outstanding to go to. I mean, really good food down there.
Yeah, the
No question.
Gables and Coconut Grove have gone through a lot of different phases and iterations, but the Grove has some outstanding restaurants.
Grove was
now.
always great. I mean, they didn't have as many restaurants when I lived in the Grove there also when I first moved here, one of my places. And I love this place. I'm sure it's not there anymore, called Kaleidoscope. That was one of my go-to first date places. Was to take
If
a
you're
woman to
mentioning it,
Kaleidoscope.
Defo, I'm probably 100% sure that it's no longer in business. So that's
That whole area might have been reconstructed. I'm not sure, but it became very foo-foo, though. I mean, didn't it? The Grove, some of these restaurants,
Yeah.
very high-end, like expensive, salads that are like $20 a pop and stuff like that. Whereas, when I lived there in the early '80s. There were any number of dynamite places, and they were dirt cheap. I mean, it was fantastic. And they had a lot of breakfast places in Coconut Grove that were terrific also.
Yeah, no, I mean, it's a place that has obviously there's a lot of wealth. Some of those houses
Yeah.
there in the Gables are
Ridiculous.
pretty fabulous. So it only stands to reason that the expensive restaurants will follow. One of my favorite places at Fiola is an high-end Italian place in the Gables, and it's outstanding. They do these lobster ravioli. Some places you go where they mince up the ravioli with some cheese, and this is like they actually fold the fresh house-made pasta around a full like knuckle of meat of like
that's
just
amazing.
unadulterated lobster meat, some tail meat, some knuckle meat, and not cut with anything. And then they bathe it in this beurre blanc sauce, and it's just an absolutely outstanding dish. And when I was there before the pandemic, I think they were charging like $50 for the entree. Now I'm
Jeez.
sure it's probably up to about 75. But
Yeah,
it's one of those things where it's
yeah.
those indulgences where you say, "Wow, that's it's worth it. It's so good."
Was
But
was the place Randazzo's the one that was owned by a guy that was a boxer and his wife, and it was in a small Italian place, and it
yeah,
was
they
kind
were
of
in the
around the Miracle
Gables.
Mile. Yeah,
It still exists. It's
they
on
they
Key
might have
Biscayne.
moved, yeah,
Yeah,
but
Key
that place
Biscayne.
had tremendous reputation, and people would, I mean, pack that joint for lunch.
Yeah.
It was really outstanding.
No, they have moved and they are still in business on Key Biscayne on Crandon Boulevard out
Yeah.
there, out by the park. What was it, Bill Baggs State Park? But that place is still going. Not related to the Randazzos of my youth in Sheepshead Bay, New York, which was a clam bar, raw bar, but they also had the fried calamari, galama, and some linguine and clams and things like that. Paulie is the guy. It was a third generation.
Yo, Paulie, of course.
But that was Randazzo's Clam Bar, not related to the Randazzo's restaurant, which was the Boxer, which is now on Key Biscayne.
I remember having
Hey,
lunch there a couple of times. I had some meetings down in the Gables, and the people were big fans of the place, and it was terrific. It really was. I mean, really good stuff and reasonable too.
nice. Hey, let's get to the second break. I want to put in a quick word for our friends at Tropical Acres. I got to stop by and I
Are you
saw
taking your buddy
Jack.
there tonight? Because he could buy the wine at half price.
No, tonight I would love to take
Oh,
him
that's
there
right.
and
You're
have
busy.
him buy
That's
the
right.
white.
That's right.
No,
That's
but
right.
you know what? It's even better, Defo, because we're going to do the best of Delray Beach party tonight. I'll take my buddy to Tropical Acres tomorrow and make him pay full freight for the wine because that's
Oh,
what El
beautiful.
Chico deserves.
Sure, will be ordering
But
some
it's
of the
still,
specials.
even when you pay full freight for the wine at Tropical
yes.
Acres, it's still a great deal because
Yeah.
that's what they're all about: is good value.
What time will you
great
be there? About
food.
4:30 for the early bird with this guy?
Yeah,
Yeah.
with El Cheapo, he'll want to go in there to the bar for the happy hour at the bar,
I'm
which
kind
is
of
a
hungry
great
now.
deal.
That's when the guy
Yeah.
tells you at 4 in the afternoon.
Uh,
I'm kind of hungry now, Mike. Let's go.
But even if you are El Cheapo or money conscious, Tropical Acres has all the goodies for you. I mean, you go
Yeah.
in there at 4:30 at the bar, and they got those little sliders made from ground sirloin that they grind fresh every day. They have the coconut shrimp. They have escargot on the happy hour menu at the bar. Half price drinks. Some of the things that just make Tropical Acres one of my favorites, along with, of course, the impeccable service and old school hospitality from the Studiali family. Jack, I saw yesterday. He's just such a class individual. He was busy doing some stuff with, they had the electrical little something they were checking out on the electrical system. He couldn't really talk to me. He calls me on the phone 10 minutes later, said, "Mike, I didn't mean to I didn't mean to ignore you." Like, that's the class individual. He's like always just very, very aware and conscious of his guests. It doesn't matter if you're a first timer or have been going there for the last 30 years like me. Try Tropical Acres is at 2500 Griffin Road. And then, of course, they still have a couple last weeks of the Twin Lobster Special. Twin Maine lobsters steamed up live, pound and a quarter each, $35 with salad and side dish. You can't beat that deal. Tropical Acres has a butcher shop that's open every day but Sunday, 10 a.m. to 6 p.m. And the dining room is open every day but Sunday, starting at 4:30 p.m. Go in there, tell them the Lunchbox Mayo and Defo sent you.
It is true. You see Jack Studiali and you hear Trevor Demon in your head saying, exuding class. And that's exactly what he does. He just exudes class, a dynamite place, and always a good time at Tropical Acres. All right, more to come. Mike Mayo's Lunchbox as Mike tries to deal with hanging out with a cheapskate. It's kind of like a case on the People's Court. We'll examine that in further detail in a moment here on the Lunchbox.
When people come to me and say, "Mike, where should I go out to eat? I got guests coming from out of town. Where should we go?" Cafe Seville. That's the answer. 2768 East Oakland Park Boulevard. It's a Fort Lauderdale perennial, serving the finest in Spanish and continental cuisine in a cozy, friendly, comfortable setting. Joey Esposito and Sally, his better half, they've been running the place for a long time. It's been open since the 1980s. They got great Spanish classics like paella, shrimp with garlic sauce, and all kinds of great seafood dishes. The stuffed veal chop, oh, that's my favorite. Go to Cafe Seville. It's open every day but Sunday at 5 p.m. for dinner. Tell them that the Lunchbox Mayo and Defo sent you. Do you like burgers? Do you like wings? Do you like late night food and sports on big screen TVs and cold beer and friendly vibe and great people? Then you want to check out Shenanigans. For 30 years, they've been doing a great job. The original location, West Side, 3303 Sheridan Street, just across from TY Park in Hollywood. Then there's the East Side location, 1300 South Federal Highway in Dania Beach. You go to Shenanigans, you get yourself all the good stuff, the fresh fish every day, the black and grilled wings, and of course, the kitchens are open late in both locations. Go there, tell them that the Lunchbox, Mayo, and Defo sent you. From our friends at Visit Lauderdale and Lauder Deals, don't miss Dine Out Lauderdale during August and September in Greater Fort Lauderdale. Dozens of top restaurants are offering amazing 3 and 4 course meals starting at just $35. See all the Dine Out Lauderdale menus from more than 50 participating restaurants online at visitlauderdale.com/deals. More taste sensations are being added daily, so plan your culinary adventure to Greater Fort Lauderdale and get your taste of the good life for less. Dig in now at visitlauderdale.com/deals. Looking for a great place for steaks, seafood, and more? Go to Tropical Acres Steakhouse and Butcher Shop. It's at 2500 Griffin Road in Dania, just west of I-95 and the airport. They've been there a long time, since 1949. That means they're doing something right. You'll get old school hospitality from the Studiali family, along with great value, for tremendous service. Of course, you could also go into the bar for happy hour every day, 4 to 6. The early bird special runs from 4:30 to 5:30, and they have great value all night long. Also, a butcher shop that's open every day from 10 a.m. to 6 p.m. except Sunday. The dining room is open every day at 4:30 except Sunday. Go to Tropical Acres. Tell them the Lunchbox sent you. Now we're back here on the Lunchbox. A couple of programming notes. We're going to be back on the road, scheduled to go Thursday. And welcome back to the sponsorship fold of the Lunchbox. The great people at Grandpa's Cafe and Bagel Deli in Dania Beach. And we're going to get together with Mark Freed, one of the proprietors. And we're going to be talking about the upcoming Jewish High Holy Days. Rosh Hashanah, can you believe it? Sunday night is the first night of Rosh Hashanah. So they're going to have all kinds of prepackaged or catering packages available at Grandpa's, and also for the breaking the fast 10 days later for Yom Kippur, all kinds of good bagels and the appetizing, the spreads, the lox, and all that stuff. A great place to get all your high holy day dining needs. Besides that, what did I want to talk about? It seems like one of the things that everybody gets in just all Twitter about on the Let's Eat South Florida Facebook group is a lot of these restaurants now are adding automatic gratuities, or they call it service charges. And there's a lot of confusion over it because some of these restaurants, they're actually computing the tax on top of what they add in as the service charge, which I've come to discover that because of a recent court ruling in Miami, places that call it a service charge, it means when it says service charge, it means it's not necessarily going to the servers. It might be going to the house. And it's also considered part of the bill, like ordering another dish, and they do put tax on it. And that is a little confusing for customers because when you see service charge, you think that's like an automatic gratuity, which depending on the wording, it's not. And I think, again, go back to what my big pet peeves is in the in this industry. You've got to be communicating, and whether basically you're a guest, you should ask the waiter, said, wait, this service charge, is that going to you or the house? And do you expect me to pay a tip on top of the service charge? And if you clarify that with both the server and the manager and they say yes, you'll say, I think this is going to be my last time dining here. I am not paying 40%. And again, it's kind of falls a lot is falling on customers now to figure out what's going on, because a lot of places are, margins are thin, times are tough, and times are tough for everybody. So again, clarify, communicate, and then make your own best decisions based on what the answer is. And a place that is trying to double charge me or doesn't even give their servers the automatic service charge is a place I don't want any part of. And it's very confusing out there.
I don't do a lot of check scrutinization. The Mustang always gets mad at me because I usually just look at it. And you kind of have being a degenerate, naturally, you're pretty good with numbers.
You're good with throwing away money without caring. Right?
Yeah, just say $35 entrees and a couple of drinks. I know it's going to be about $1.40.
It's like a three-horse $5 exacta box. You got to throw it out the window. You check the ticket. Okay, that's gone. So it's like, okay.
I mean,
so
if it's in the ballpark, I don't do a lot of individual scrutinizing. So I probably would be unlikely to notice that. Except, I mean, when you do see something that looks ridiculously off base in terms of the final bill, then you might take a look at that, and it would be offensive to think that
So cheapo.
you were paying
Yeah.
an extra 30% that you didn't know about or whatever.
Everything is situational, and again, I don't like surprises. I do sometimes look at the check, and if I notice something, you'll just ask, and then usually, hopefully, you get an answer. But anyway, that's gonna do it for today. I can't believe another day gone in the books. Hopefully,
See, you're feeling good. This walk of life has changed you a little bit, Mike Mayo. I want to say that it's leading you in a more positive direction. I believe this to be true.
we could say that. I will again. The final results are not in yet, but
All right.
at least my cardiologist and GI guy.
No, but
agree with
mentally,
you,
I think
so.
it's clearing out
Mentally,
your head. Yeah, you were kind of clogged
mentally,
up there for a while.
yeah, I'm still a little bit clogged, but I just fake it better. So anyway, that's gonna do it. I hope to see everybody out at Bar 25 tonight. I hope you can make it up there for a little bit.
I'm going to
too,
make it.
fellas.
Yeah, no,
Okay,
I
good.
feel obligated to Dick Steen.
Dick
all
Steen
the,
loves you.
Yeah, show face
what he
for
does.
us.
Yeah.
I won't
It's
make
all good. And
Lubie's
Lubie,
out,
one of
though.
these days.
Yeah.
Yeah,
It's
well,
on a Tuesday. Make
night.
it on a Wednesday
I
or a
know.
Monday. I will make.
It's all
I'll
good.
be.
Oh, he's making money tonight, so he's
That's
out.
it. It's all
Yeah.
good. All right. That's it for today. Thanks for tuning in. Enjoy the fried rice for Fried Rice Day. And also remember to enjoy every sandwich.